Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. I hope you are doing great today. In today's video, we're going to look at how to use the SQL Loader. The SQL Loader is a bulk loader utility that is used for moving data from external files into the Oracle database. I'll give you a quick illustration. Let's assume you have a client that runs a small business and they save their data with regular Excel application. And then years down the line, their business grows significantly and they find a need to want to use the Oracle database. And you are contacted, as the SQL developer to assist to move these files. Perhaps maybe thousands or tens of thousands of records saved in Excel format or CSV format or a text format possibly. How are you going to move this data? You can imagine how cumbersome it will be trying to type them manually. The best option for you to load such data to your database is to use the SQL Loader. And this is what we are going to be talking about today. So to help us with this practical lecture, I've created a dummy data, .csv file. Let me try to open it. I'll open with WordPad. And then you can see the file, more or less like an employee ID, first name, and then last name kind of thing. Like I said, it's just a dummy data. So we have up to like 20,000 records. So let's see in high level the steps to take, for us to move this data. Now, the first thing we have to do is to create the table according to what we have on the CSV file. If you look at it, the very first column is a number column. The second column is a character column. The third column is also a character column. So you have to create the table according to what you have here. So for us to be able to do that, we'll create the table. Let's call it test_load. And then it has 3 columns: employee ID, which is the number column, and then the first name, which is a character column, and then the last name, which is also a character column. So let's quickly do that. I'll take this code and then I'll go to my SQL developer. And then let's create a table. So table test_load has been created successfully. Now the next thing we want to do, let's be sure that we have the structure of the table. We select everything from the table to ensure that the table structure exists. So we've confirmed that we already have the table in our database, but then we don't have the data yet. So what's the next thing to do? The next thing to do is to create a directory, that will actually contain this CSV file. This has to be done at the operating system level. So I'll quickly go to my server and then I'll create this directory, mkdir /u01/loader. This is where I want to save every file that I will need to move this particular data. So we can see that the directory has been created, and then the next thing we want to do is to change a directory to this directory. So I've just changed directory to where I want to save the external file. So I want to try to move it to my Linux server where I have my database installed. Remember, this is for practice purposes. So I'll try to create the CSV file using the vi command, vi space test.csv, and then enter. For you to start typing, you have to hit the insert, that's the letter I. And then let me quickly select everything here. This is our dummy data. Select everything here. Okay, so I'll just copy it. And then I'll come here and paste. Okay, so we have our dummy data here. So to save, I'll hit the escape key, shift plus column, and then type WQ and enter. So we now have our dummy data created. Now the next thing we want to do is to create what is known as a control file. Okay, this control file is what will help us execute these commands successfully to copy the files to our database. So to do that, I'll use the vi command. Again, I choose to call it test.ctl, okay? The format is .ctl. So I'm creating the control file, enter, and then as usual, I'll hit the I letter to insert. Now, what I'll try to do is to copy the instruction here. This is the instruction that we are going to load to the control file to tell the control file how to move the data. You can see load data in file test.csv. This in file is telling the control file that the data you're going to load is located in a file known as test.csv. And then this keyword append into table test_load fields terminated by comma, optionally enclosed by double quotes. Okay, and then we give the column names as it is on the CSV file. So I'm going to copy this and then I'll come here to my server and then I'll paste this. So this is the instruction to the control file. So to save, escape, shift.column, WQ and enter. So we've successfully created our control file. Now the next thing to do is to load the SQL loader. So to load the SQL loader is just a simple command, SQL LD arrow, and then you specify the location of the control file by using the word control equal to /u01/loader/test.ctl. Remember, we just created the control file and we gave the instruction as well. Okay, and then you have to specify a log file as well. The log file is used to save information about this operation you want to carry out. Now, anything that goes on, anything that happens in course of executing this operation will actually be saved in the log file. Okay, so I choose to name the log file test.log. You can see log is equal to, I gave the location and then put the name as test.log and put the name as test.log. So even if this log file does not exist, it will create the log file after the operation. Okay, so I'm going to quickly hit the enter key. And then it's requesting for my username. Now, because I created this as the HRO user, I'm going to put HRO/ the password HRO2 @ I'll specify the pluggable database where the HRO user is found, because that's where I created the table at ORCLPDB, and then I'll enter. Wow. So you can see 20,000 rows successfully loaded. So we want to see the information about this operation. How do we go about it? Very simple. Let's go ahead and cat the log file, test.log. Cat test.log. That's the command to reveal everything in the log file. So I enter, and then you can see the table name is test_load that we created. The first thing you want to see is that 20,000 rows successfully loaded. One row not loaded due to data errors. Perhaps there was no data and there was just an empty space. Okay. 0 rows not loaded because all when clause were failed. So everything was successful. And then let's look at the time it took took only 27 seconds to load the data into the database. Imagine 27 seconds to load 20,000 records to your database. Is that not wonderful? All right, so let's confirm. Let's go to our SQL developer and confirm that the data is indeed loaded into our table. So I'm back, and then let's execute this command again. Select all from test_load. Wow. Wow, 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 wow. Let's right click and then say count rows. You see 20,000 rows, and we had 20,000 records loaded successfully. So guys, this is how you use the SQL Loader. I hope this video was interesting to you. If it was, kindly like it and share it widely. And don't forget to hit the subscribe button and turn on the notification bell icon so you don't miss out whenever I upload another valuable content. And I'll see you in my next video. Bye for now.